Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about finding the surface area of pyramids. We've already talked about how to find the surface area of a prism, and we're kind of a little bit worried about that, but guess what? You can definitely do this stuff, guys. Nothing that I've been giving you is something that you can't figure out. And like I always say, math is always figure outable. You find a method that works for you, and you stick to that method, okay? So let's go ahead and get started on pyramids. For our introduction, to solve the surface area, solve for the surface area of a pyramid, you will need to do the same steps that we talked about on the last unit. Okay? Remember to use the steps like right here. They went to the previous lesson about how to label and draw your nets. So you're going to have to remember your formulas, and you're going to have to remember, how to draw a net. Step 1 is to draw your net, and I want you guys to copy down how to do this first one. The other ones, if you want to just work them out in your notebook or work them out on your whiteboards, that's fine as long as you have this right here copied down, okay? So step 1 is to draw and label your nets. As you can see in this net, you only have one base because pyramids only have one base. You have a left and right face, front and back face, and one of these faces called lateral faces, in case you weren't sure, okay? Your height looks like it's going to be 3 feet, and the width of your base is going to be 1 3/8 feet, okay? Let's go on to step 2. If you're still copying, just pause the video for a minute. Step 2, find the area of each face of the square pyramid. Since the regular pyramid with a square base, the 4 faces of the pyramid are triangles that are equal in size. Right, so since our base is a regular square, all of our sides, all of our lateral faces are going to be the same size. Alright, so now you have to remember the formula for finding the area of a square. Well, we know that it's area equals side squared. That S stands for the side. So our side length is 1 3/8. What are the other side lengths going to be? Guess what? 1 3/8, because it's a square. Okay? So we're going to be doing 1 3/8 turned into an improper fraction, which gives you 11/8 times 11/8, which gives you 121/64. Alright, now let's look at our front, back, left, and right faces. Our area is 1/2 base times height. So now we're going to do 1/2 times 1 3/8 times 3. So our height is 3, and our base is 1 3/8. Okay? Turn 1 3/8 into an improper fraction. Multiply straight across. Now remember that 3 is going to have a 1 underneath it, so that way it makes it a little bit easier to multiply. 1 times 11 times 3 is going to be 33. And then 2 times 8 is going to give us 16. And then step 3 is to add all of these faces and bases together. So you want to add base. You're only going to have one base because it's a pyramid, so you're only going to repeat it once. Now, because this is a square pyramid, all of your sides are going to be the same. So you're just going to add 33/16 to itself 4 times, or you can multiply 33/16 times 4 plus 121/64. Okay? You should end up with 649/64, or 10/64. So it takes about 10 9/64 feet squared of cardboard to make a terrarium package. Now, some people are wondering, how do you know if it's going to be feet squared or not? Well, you're just multiplying the sides together to get the area of that one shape. Let me show you. So for each of these, you're doing 3 feet times 1 3/8 feet. When you're adding them together, you're not going to end up squaring them. Okay? Alright, now let's look at this one. This is going to be another square pyramid. Make sure, guys, you have to read these very carefully. Otherwise, you're not going to do it right. That was the major mistake that most kids were making on the test this last one. It was a very easy test. But if you did not read it, and you do not know your formulas, you didn't do so hot. So you have to know your formulas and you have to read the questions. Okay? Use a net to find the surface area of the square pyramid. So we're finding surface area of this square pyramid. Now what does that square pyramid tell us? Well, it tells us, excuse me, it tells us that we're going to have one base because it's a pyramid. And it also tells us that because it's a square, all of our lateral faces are going to be the same. Okay? So let's go on to step 1, to draw your net. You have a height of 10 yards for your triangles, and you have a base of 16 yards for the bottom of your triangle and for the sides of your square. Okay? Step 2, find the area of each face of the square pyramid. Since this is a regular pyramid with a square base, the 4 faces of the pyramid are triangles. Okay? They're going to be equal in size. So all you have to do for this shape is do side squared, which is 16 squared, which means 16 times 16, which is 256. And then you're going to do the formula for a triangle. Oh my gosh, guys, look, you have to remember your formulas again. So you have to do area equals half the base times the height. All right, our base is 16, our height is 10 yards. So our area for one of our triangles is going to be 8. Oh, this is much easier addition than the other one is, isn't it? So now we're going 256 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80, which will give you 576. Okay, yards squared. All right, now guys, they're not always going to have. Sorry, the bell. That's a long bell. We're not always going to have a square base. Some pyramids are not going to be equal. Sometimes you're going to have a rectangular base. So again, you have to read your questions. We are finding the surface area of the rectangular pyramid. So we know, since it's talking about a pyramid, that we are only going to have one base. Alright, step 1 is to draw and label your net. Look how crazy this net's going to look compared to the other ones. Because it's a rectangular pyramid, your base is going to be, guess what? In the shape of a rectangle, because our base determines what our name is going to be for our shape. So now we have to find the area of our 2 different types of triangles, because we have this little skinny one right here, and you have this big one right here. Okay, so you have 2 different triangles you're trying to find a face for. Now, not only do you have 2 different triangles, you have to remember you have 2 of each of those triangles. Okay, so label all your faces. And this one, guys, I want you to copy this one into your notebook as well, because you need to have an example of one square one, and you need to have an example of one rectangular one. Okay, so pause the video and go ahead and copy this down real quick, and then push play when you're finished. Step 2, since this is a pyramid with a rectangular base, the opposite faces of the pyramid are triangles that are going to be equal size. So the opposite of this little skinny one is going to be another little skinny one. You're going to have 2 that are the same. Opposite of this guy is going to be 2 of this one. Okay? So your base is going to be 6.4 centimeters times 2.2. And remember, for a rectangle, your formula is going to be area equals base times height. You write the formula before you do any math, okay? So make sure you copy that down or write that down on the top of your problem every single time. Again, you're copying this whole page down. 6.4 times 2.2 will give you 14.08. Now here's the front and back faces. These 2 right here match, so you're going to have 1/2 of the base times the height. Okay, your height is 9.1, your base is 6.4 of this one. And you're going to do the same thing with your other triangle. Okay, now look, they went ahead and halved their 2.2, excuse me, to make 1.1. And now they're doing 1.1 times 9.6. Now remember, guys, just because there's 1 does not mean it's going to be 9.6. If you multiplied it out, you'll see that. Okay? They did the same thing here. They went ahead and hacked the 6.4 and got 3.2. So if you're wondering how they got 3.2, it's 3.2 is half of 6.4. Okay? All right. So now that we have an idea of how to solve for a rectangular pyramid, and then, the last step is to add all your sides together. You have two of the big ones, and then you have two of the small sides, and you have one base. All right? Now remember, it's going to be centimeters squared, so don't forget that part. You need to know when to square it and when to not square it. Okay. I want you to see if you can solve this one by yourself. Remember your steps, remember your formulas. Pause the video and see if you can do it. When you get done, I want you to push play and see if you got it right. Alright, so let's check our solution and see how we did. Here's what your net is going to look like. You're going to draw your faces of your triangles and draw your base. Okay, as you can see, your two back and front faces are very narrow compared to your left and right face. Alright, now you're going to find the area of each of your shapes. You have three separate shapes. You have one base, which is a rectangle. That's the easiest one to find. You have two left and right faces, which you're doing your formula for a triangle. Okay. Then you have two front and back faces. Alright, if you did not get these, look at your numbers really good and see what you did differently to check your answer. Guys, one thing that we're having a bad habit about is we're erasing our work. In Ms. Cantley's class, you need to make sure you do not erase your work because you need to check it and see what mistake you're making. Step 3 is to add all of your faces together, and you would end up with a pyramid that is about 100 feet squared, or 99.7 feet squared. Okay? Now, what if you don't have a rectangle or a square pyramid? What if you have a triangular pyramid? I want you to kind of think about that. What would you do for your base? It's a triangular pyramid. What about your lateral faces? So you're going to need to think about this, guys, and think about what you're going to do when you have something with a different base. All right, keeping that in mind, I want you to go ahead and get onto the 14-4 digits assignment. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to contact me. You can email me, you can drop by the classroom and we can discuss math, or, if you just want to come talk to me about anything, you feel free. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you guys later.